The following program contains mature subject matter and coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
半夜敲门，你们是干什么的？如果有一天我回到中国，可能就再也出不来了。
I'm Ioana Roumeliotis. Welcome to The Fifth Estate Presents, a new series where we showcase documentaries produced by our colleagues at Radio-Canada. We will feature more of these stories in the fall, but this week we have a special preview. Our colleagues Gaëtan Pouliot and Benoit Giasson go to Australia and track down a former Chinese spy with links to Canada.
My primary mission was to infiltrate the Chinese dissident community.
In a rare interview, he reveals how China's spies and secret police operate here, surveilling critics, silencing dissent.
Les gens chinois me disent que 你不得好死, tu vas mourir en souffrance.
And what happened when one of his targets, a dissident living in British Columbia, disappeared?
如果我掉海里了啊，真没法捞。
There are strange elements to this case that call for a deeper investigation.
How far is Beijing willing to go?
It's clear they're willing to silence someone by any means. And of course, they'll do it without leaving a trace.
The Fifth Estate presents The Dissident and the Spy.
A spy is receiving orders from his handler. A dissident is on the run, and the Chinese police are losing patience.
上面觉得他很讨厌，想办他，想啥子办法把他勾到柬埔寨或者老挝，当然最好是柬埔寨。
Hua Yong is a Chinese artist and a fierce opponent of the Communist Party.
我自拍，实际上就是一个自拍杆嘛，这样慢慢晃就是摇臂，你知道吧？
Social media is his weapon of choice. There, he takes center stage.
Hello， 有人吗？共产党建立了90多年，中华人民共和国成立了60、70年，干过很多错误的事情。
C'est un régime autoritaire.
It's an authoritarian regime. It's a regime that doesn't tolerate dissent,
Et qui va
that will take all necessary measures to silence anyone who challenges it
qui s'objecte
and threatens the stability and power of the Communist Party.
au pouvoir du Parti communiste.
This video was shot in Tiananmen Square. Hua Yong wanted to highlight the violent events of June 1989.
C'est un mouvement étudiant pour la démocratie.
It was a pro-democracy student movement. June 4th, 1989 is never discussed in China. It's very taboo.
Tabou. Quand le mouvement a commencé,
As the movement gained momentum,
les leaders chinois
China's leaders grew worried and decided the only way to end it was to send in the army.
d'envoyer l'armée. Moi, j'ai des connaissances.
I know people who were there, who rode their bicycles through Tiananmen Square. They said there were bodies everywhere, everywhere.
Plein de cadavres. C'est très dangereux.
It was very dangerous for him to do this in Tiananmen Square.
Très courageux.
Very brave.
Using his own blood, Huayong wrote the date of the massacre, June 4th, on his forehead. Huayong was arrested for this act of defiance against the Chinese Communist Party. He was sent to a labor camp for 15 months, but that didn't stop him. Huayong doesn't hold back when documenting current events in China and sharing videos on social media.
今天是2017年11月26号，就是着火这块之后，现在被拆迁的这块场地。
After a fire swept through a working-class neighborhood in Beijing, the government razed it and evicted the residents.
喜欢灾难片的，这好身后的东西好像是一阵狂风暴雨、台风、地震，都不是，是人为的。
Huayong is outraged at the government.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck!
His gesture quickly attracted attention.
不是，你们是干什么的？半夜敲门，你们是干什么的？
Huayong has cut and dyed his hair and is hiding at a friend's place, but the police find him.
现在外面有很多警察。
He fears going back to prison and never seeing his 2-year-old daughter again.
还有3天，我女儿就过生日了。啊，宝宝，爸爸给你过不了生日了。
With time running out, Huayong posts this message to his daughter.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my baby. Happy birthday to you. 爸爸所做的一切，就是为了你们这一代人不要再经历爸爸和爷爷们经历过的事情。爸爸想让我们国家好起来，应该公正、公平、自由、民主、言论自由。有机会，爸爸自由的时候，爸爸带你周游世界，好不好？爸爸爱你。
Huayong is arrested again. In September 2019, Huayong flees to Thailand to escape Chinese repression. But spies are active abroad, tracking dissidents.
而且最关键的里头是顺其自然，不暴露利益。
One of these spies goes by the name Eric. We have thousands of messages from his cell phone. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation obtained this information and shared it with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and Radio-Canada. It provides a rare look into China's espionage operations abroad.
晚上那边通过钱庄打钱嘛，因为要留利那个方式噻。
The text messages contain financial records, secret money transfers, and the names of companies and people involved in espionage. When Hua Yong arrives in Thailand, the spy known as Eric is already there.
想办法吧，多了解他一些。
大家好，今天我们微之旅出境的，我给大家介绍一下。
The man in the balaclava is Eric, the spy. To gain Hua Yong's trust, he created a fake revolutionary militia.
今天我们要讲的主题是，作为单独的个体，现阶段如何为武装革命、武装斗争做准备。
His online videos seek to recruit supporters to overthrow the Communist Party. The trap works. The spy now has direct access to the dissident Hua Yong, who loves the video. Hua Yong believes he's found a fellow revolutionary. In Thailand, the artist says he faced police harassment and death threats.
我担心吧，如果有一天我回到中国，可能就再也出不来了。
So, he's back on the run. In April 2021, in the middle of the pandemic, he lands in Halifax. Coming up.
大家好，我是张瑶。今天呢，来聊一聊我为什么会反共。
How China tracks dissidents overseas.
They create psychological pressure to try to terrorize the person, to say we know where you are, and if you don't keep quiet, we can hurt you.
这个风景画完了，不过光线变得很厉害。
The artist Hua Yong has fled to Canada. Here, he's in an alley in Toronto in June 2021. But the Chinese secret police are never far away. China doesn't rely on spies alone. It has many other means to silence its critics.
Je m'appelle Yao. Je fais YouTube vidéo. Tout le monde est fier que je suis québécoise. Je suis québécoise, je parle français.
We met Yao Zhang near the St. Lawrence River. To protect her safety, we cannot disclose her location.
Xi Jinping, c'est la personne qui décide toutes les choses en Chine. Les gens comme moi vont dire que Empereur Xi. Xi,
L'empereur.
Empereur. C'est pas d'un pays démocratique. Tout le monde souffre dans cet régime. 大家好，我是张瑶。今天呢，来聊一聊我为什么会反共。那原因
Yao goes live every day to comment on the news from China.
包括习近平他为什么既威胁到这些中国人勇敢的自由的中国人但是他同时也威胁到加拿大
She boldly challenges the Communist Party, but that comes at a cost.
Est-ce que tu as des amis dans la communauté chinoise?
Non, j'arrête toutes les communications avec la communauté chinoise. Je ne sais pas qui je peux faire confiance. Je limite des personnes qui peuvent me contacter. Je n'ai pas l'ami, je n'ai pas... Ma mère est la seule personne. Je sais que je peux faire confiance.
Un thé noir.
Un thé noir?
Oui.
OK, un thé noir. Parfait.
Comment vous vous sentiez quand vous avez vu Yao faire ces vidéos? Qu'est-ce que vous avez pensé?
Dangereux pour lui. J'ai peur.
In China, members of Yao's family were intimidated by the police.
La police chinoise a fait des pressions sur ta famille pour que toi, tu arrêtes de parler.
Il veut arrêter moi.
Yao and her mother eventually cut ties with China to protect their family and to keep speaking out against the Communist Party.
Il faut parler. Écoute-moi.
Parce que dans Chine, c'est dangereux de parler qu'est-ce qui se passe. C'est toujours très très difficile pour moi pour penser que la dernière année de ma grand-mère, peut-être elle va parler avec ma mère.
C'est dangereux pour...
C'est dangereux pour son famille.
Il crée un climat psychologique.
They create psychological pressure to try to terrorize the person, to say we know where you are, and if you don't keep quiet, we can hurt you.
On peut te faire du mal.
The pursuit of Chinese people abroad even became the topic of a series aired on state television.
Si on peut instiguer...
If you can instill fear in someone's psyche, you don't even need to control them.
Ils vont s'auto-censurer.
They'll censor themselves.
Les Tibétains...
As Tibetans, we fight for freedom against China's repressive communist regime.
Chinois. J'essaie aussi de protéger ma famille.
I also try to protect my family. I have no contact with my relatives in Tibet, so they won't be taken hostage.
Pris en otage.
如果你好好看的话，是能看出它是假的哦，就是因为它的这个。
Une photo générée par l'intelligence artificielle de toi.
De moi.
Nu.
Nu. C'est pas seulement une. Il y a beaucoup. Beaucoup. Et vraiment, vraiment dégoûtant. Vraiment dégoûtant.
Last year, the Canadian government contacted Yao to reveal that China was behind the campaign. Personal information about Yao and her family members has also been posted online, along with a false claim of incest and alleged ties to US intelligence.
Est-ce que c'est vrai que tu reçois de l'argent de la CIA?
Non! Je ne reçois rien de l'argent. Zéro. Zéro.
C'est du salissage. On
oui.
veut...
C'est pas vrai.
J'aimerais te faire écouter un extrait.
Oui.
Audio. Je prends mon téléphone.
Tout le monde connaissait Hua Yong. Il est une personne très courageuse. Mais je suis ici. J'ai la liberté. Et le gouvernement canadien a essayé de me protéger. Mais là-bas, ce n'est pas la même chose.
C'est plus dangereux.
Très, très dangereux. Il peut être tué par gouvernement chinois.
Yao posted a video of a protest to YouTube showing her support for Tibet and other oppressed groups in China.
台湾的国旗，光复香港时代革命，释放维吾尔人。
Some in the crowd react fiercely.
Cette monsieur
ah, okay.
est frappé mon main.
et mon cellulaire tombe.
Les gens chinois me disent que 你不得好死, tu vas mourir en souffrance. Quand tu fais les choses qui critiquent le gouvernement chinois, tu dois vivre comme une île. Tu ne peux pas contacter l'autre personne. Tu ne peux pas faire confiance avec l'autre personne.
我划的小船一根哟，一根呀呼嘿哟。
Hua Yong is in touch with many Chinese, including Eric, the spy on Beijing's payroll.
这个一根哟。
After living in Toronto, Hua Yong settled in British Columbia.
那什么，如果我掉海里了啊，真没法捞，真没法捞。
Coming up, in Australia, we meet with a former Chinese spy.
Are you rolling? Ready?
My primary mission was to infiltrate the Chinese dissident community.
In breaking his silence, he reveals how covert operations reach into Canada.
在哪儿啊？在温哥华的一个某个小岛上，但是我还不能露，还不能说，在某个小岛上。
Several months into our investigation, we head to Australia. We've tracked down Eric, the operative who spied on Hua Yong for years. We don't know where he lives, so we agreed to meet in a safe location. The man you see here is not an actor, it's Eric himself. In a remarkable turn of events, a former Chinese spy agrees to an interview.
Yes, rolling. Are you rolling? Ready?
很多人都知道我的名字叫 Eric， 包括在
My name is Eric. Of course, that's not my real name.
一个英文的化名，而不是我的真名。
For security reasons, Eric has asked us not to reveal his real name.
那么在2008年到
From 2008 to 2023, I worked for China's secret police.
是真正的工作是为中国的秘密政治警察。
It's a police force used to suppress political dissent.
他对付的主要对象也是批评共产党的那些异议人士。
Its main targets are critics of the Communist Party.
就得到他们的更多信任。那么后面就逐渐。
Over time, my role evolved. I gained their trust, was promoted, and I became an agent, a spy, sent on missions to various countries.
不同的任务。 当时去泰国是一个常驻任务，就是
I went to Thailand on a long-term assignment.
是主要一个平常的任务，就是
My primary mission was to infiltrate the Chinese dissident community.
Eric managed to get close to Hua Yong and meet him in Bangkok.
We talked about a lot of things.
批评中共的这个人士，他做了一些
Hua Yong was influential, and many of his activities upset the Chinese authorities.
这种事情。
The goal of the operation was to bring him back to China and silence him.
那么秘密警察就很喜欢就是利用资金去。
The secret police often use money to trap their targets.
我当时说的就是说，看能否用什么。
We discussed trying to lure him with financial support to open a hostel or some other business venture. The idea was to get him to go to a country where the secret police could control him,
去进入他们想能够控制花用的一些。
like Cambodia or Laos, preferably Cambodia.
最好是柬埔寨。
So, do you have friends here in Australia?
Not much, just a few, you know.
Eric has agreed to tell us his story because, incredibly, before becoming a spy, he too was a pro-democracy dissident.
I stumbled onto the website of the Social Democratic Party of China. Their ideas appealed to me, so I applied to be a member by email. The police then tracked me down. These police have enormous power. If you don't cooperate, you can end up in prison. So when they caught me, they forced me to work for them. I knew in my heart that I wasn't on the same side as the secret police. Deep down, I was still an anti-communist. So I knew that sooner or later, I would break with them.
Still, Eric spent 15 years as a spy before fleeing the secret police. His first mission abroad came in 2016, when he traveled to India to infiltrate a Tibetan event.
I went to Dharamshala where I met the Dalai Lama and other people. I gathered some information, then wrote a report. We took a group photo and shook hands.
Eric had proven himself as a spy. Next, his superiors sent him on a special mission to Cambodia, a strategic location for the Chinese secret police.
So, just if you can explain to me, what is this?
Eric tells us that one of his targets was the political cartoonist Rebel Pepper. Known for satirizing President Xi Jinping, he left China to escape repression.
It was a special operation to bring Rebel Pepper back to China. We offered him a few business opportunities.
As with Hua Yong, the secret police tried to draw Rebel Pepper to Cambodia.
We asked him to design a mascot for a large company.
The spy had the backing of a Cambodian multinational, the Prince Group.
This is an inflatable version created from his sketches. Company executives were asked to take photos with the mascots.
Eric's account reveals the extensive efforts China deploys to track down dissidents.
These companies appear to be normal businesses with real commercial operations, but they're actually front companies that covertly cooperate with the secret police.
Suspecting a trap, Rebel Pepper refused to go to Cambodia. Hua Yong also evaded a similar secret police scheme.
在哪儿啊？在温哥华的一个某个小岛上，但是我还不能露，还不能说，在某个小岛上。
小 K 老王，赶紧的！
He continues to be tracked in Canada. Eric pulls off an impressive feat. He joins a new dissident group funded by Hua Yong in British Columbia, the Solidarity Association.
I heard that Hua Yong was using the Solidarity Association to carry out covert activities, and even wanted to raise money to buy weapons and ammunition.
Eric gets back to his superiors about Hua Yong's activities in the group. The spy insists it was too risky to withhold this information.
I suspected that among the dozen participants in those meetings, there were informants for the Chinese Communist Party. If I had hidden that information, it might have made the police suspicious about me.
如果说我故意隐瞒不报的话，可能会引起
To me, Hua Yang was a friend and a political ally.
视华勇为一个朋友和一个政治上的盟友。
He was also a passionate, idealistic person. That matches part of my own personality. I'm something of an idealist myself.
On November 27, 2022, Eric writes to his superiors in China. Coming up,
看起来里面有一
There are
些
strange elements to this case that call for a deeper investigation.
how did Hua Yang die?
这对他来说，他感觉仅仅是一个意外，但是对我来说，我感觉这是一场谋杀的演戏。
To understand the circumstances surrounding Hua Yang's death, we travel to Gibsons, a small coastal community in British Columbia.
Il venait ici. Je pense qu'il était vraiment là. Avec la marée plus basse, c'était peut-être là. Il mettait genre son kayak ici, là. Parce qu'on voyait comme l'espace entre les deux îles, ou la presqu'île puis l'île à droite. Puis il filmait son kayak puis le coucher de soleil.
This beach is where Hua Yang began his final expedition. A friend of the dissident welcomes us into her home.
He came over often. He was as joyful as a child.
Fearing for her safety, she declines to be filmed, but we are allowed to show the patio where they spend time together. She tells us what happened on November 25th, 2022.
At 4 p.m., I saw his kayak on the horizon. At 6 p.m., I got a call asking me if Hua Yang was at my place. I went to the beach with a small group of friends. I shouted, "Hua Yang! Hua Yang!" Searches went on all night. By morning, they'd found his body.
Good morning. Good morning. 华勇是我的一个很好的一个朋友，把我称为大哥。
Li Zhengfeng is a former Chinese judge who found safe haven in Vancouver. He made this plaque to commemorate Hua Yang.
这张照片是华勇他一生当中他最喜欢的一张黑白照片之一。基本上这个照片的风格已经当天得到这个消息以后，我们就陷入了很深的这种伤悲当中。那么我感觉我有这种使命，或者有这种义务，要把华勇的死因给调查清楚。
Li Zhengfeng had long known that Hua Yang was being targeted by the Chinese government. In fact, he helped Hua Yang flee to Canada.
So it's from who? Can I see the sender?
我这些年来一直从事对受中国政府逼迫的政治犯、良心犯以及基督徒的援救的工作。华勇在泰国已经受到来自中共的跨国这个打压的危险，所以说我们认为他应当及时的逃离泰国。来到温哥华以后，我们对华勇提供了大量的帮助。他换了好几个住处，都是我们这个团队为他支付的这些费用。
这可以。我靠，这还都不小嘞！哎呦我操，这基本上大部分都可以。
A few weeks before his death, Hua Yang said his kayak almost sank after a yacht passed nearby.
这对他来说，他感觉仅仅是一个意外，但是对我来说，我感觉这是一场谋杀的演习。
Li Jianfeng put together a file on the case and shared several clues with the RCMP for its investigation.
What was your first reaction when you learned that Hua Yang was dead?
我当时在心里
I wondered if he'd been assassinated.
当我在想他是不是被人干掉了。
But later information online suggested that it might have just been an accident. There are strange elements to this case that call for a deeper investigation. Once, after being hospitalized, he suspected he'd been poisoned. Some of his friends also believed he was poisoned.
But post-mortem toxicology tests came back negative. The Chinese police tracked Hua Yong's every move. Eric reported Hua Yong's movements in Canada to his bosses and even shared photos of his home.
My
superior repeatedly asked me to report. Based on how the Chinese police usually operate abroad, there were certainly other teams of secret agents in Canada to deal with Hua Yang. I'm almost certain of it.
Eric also revealed that there was a bounty on Hua Yong's head.
My
superior said that if we caught Hua Yang, there would be a 100,000 yuan reward.
And the reward, it was for you?
Yes.
A few weeks before he died, I told Hua Yang he couldn't use my kayaks. I thought it was too dangerous.
Hua Yang didn't have much money, but he found a patron who gave him the means to buy a new kayak.
特别荣幸有一个收藏家，他那个定制了我一张画，特别感谢这个厂家。 就是他能，就是我又可以画我自己想表达的东西，我还能就是衣食无忧，最是我的可以，就是他给我买我这张画，够我1-2年的一个基本的一个开销。
Did anyone try to gain influence over Hua Yang using money?
作为我曾经在中共的司法队伍里面待过那么1-2年的人，我很清楚中共的手段。 中共他们也可以欺骗他们会制造一些所谓的意外事件去谋杀一个人。我现在是没有直接证据证明他的谋杀。
Personally, I don't think anything should be ruled out. It's clear they're willing to silence someone by any means. And of course, they'll do it without leaving a trace. It's a shameless regime that doesn't hesitate to use brutal methods to achieve its goals.
The RCMP says they found no evidence of a crime. Yet, 3 years after the death, the coroner's investigation continues, which is unusually long. The cause of Hua Yang's death remains a mystery.
We mustn't underestimate the message this death sends to other dissidents. It's clear the Chinese know the lengths to which their secret services will go.
Chen Ximing, a dissident connected with Hua Yang, knows this all too well. He claims he received threats from Chinese police after arriving in Canada. He was told to stop talking about President Xi Jinping if he wanted to avoid dying like Hua Yang.
就是我想提醒加拿大的。
I want to remind Canadians that the Chinese government is very different from theirs.
跟他们的国家、他们的政府。
It's a totalitarian regime with strong fascist tendencies.
它是一个集权并且带有强烈的。
It's a serious threat to world peace,
那么它对
to our democratic way of life, and to freedom of expression.
言论自由啊，包括这些，是一个很严重的一个威胁。
La liberté dont nous jouissons ici,
The freedom we enjoy in Canada was won over centuries
génération avant nous,
by generations before us, and it is
sans prix.
priceless. It is very important to be vigilant.
D'être vigilant.
So, do you know what you will do next?
未来的事情确实不大。
It's hard to talk about the future.
中国政府
Maybe the Chinese government will find a way to eliminate me.
处理掉这个
It's a possibility.
是有可能的，不好说。
L'histoire de Huayong nous donnait une information importante. C'est quoi reste après
la mort.
Après la mort. Huayong est une personne respectée, toujours.
Oh my God！
想让死的更有意义，甚至把这种自己的死亡能变成一个就是改变我们这个民族的一个命运，不让就是我们这个民族再承受那么多苦难。